Welcome to the podcast, Entrepreneurs Share Secrets with Sandra Mossman. And today I have a guest, Mell Carr from the Cloverse. Welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. It's so great to be on your show.
Perfect. Thank you. So what do you do? What's your businesses?
My awesomeness is I have Clovery, which is an executive virtual assistant agency made up of all women, all based here in the US. So we provide our clients, successful entrepreneurs like ourselves, time back by taking off those day-to-day tasks or the tasks that they don't like doing or don't even know how to do. But that enables them to concentrate on their business growth and their current clients and prospective clients. So yes.
Yeah. How did you start it? Why you chose to be in this business?
Yeah, great question. So I have, 20 plus years working in corporate. I lived in Maui, Hawaii, and overseas for a number of years. And when I came to Arizona, I was like, okay, I'm done with corporate world. How am I going to, invest in my own self and my success? And so I started a virtual assistant agency, then more of like a personal assistant side. Started off with social media management and grew from there. Thankfully, I was able to surround myself with individuals that were like-minded, that already had businesses or business coaches. So I brought on my first business coach, which helped elevate me in my business. And, from there, I got tools and resources to really scale my own business. And now that we have a executive virtual assistant agency with a dozen different women who support our clients all over the nation. And we've been able to really grow our services and support tasks in working with our clients and seeing the gaps that are in our businesses, because we're so focused in our business that it's easy to overlook the gaps that other people new to your business can see.
Yeah. So you started you started as a personal assistant, virtual assistant yourself. And what did you do? Like social media, you did the posts, you created the contact strategy.
Yeah. I started there. I worked with a few small businesses, social media management. Like the business owners really, I don't want to be creating my social media, or they didn't even know what kind of content to create. So I was able to go in and create their content, their digital graphics, their, calendar of posts that they would be sharing from their major platforms. And from the social media, I saw that the social media content really went into a lot of other pathways, such as like a blog, a newsletter, your website updating, all of those different marketing pathways for businesses. So it scaled from there.
And when it started, how many years you were? 5 years ago? Yeah.
5 years.
And so you worked as independent first, and when you started to hire people?
Yeah, that was actually my first year. So more towards like the middle to third quarter of my first year, COVID happened on all of us, and everyone was forced to go online, go virtual, even if they didn't want to or know how to. So businesses were closing, clients changing. I was like, I have to figure out how I can continue to grow my business. And through that, I got my first business coach, and I saw the need to where I can't do it all. Like, this is what I preach to my clients. We cannot or should not be doing everything in our business. So in order for my business to grow, I had to delegate. I had to bring on team members. So that first year, I brought on a couple of women that helped with the content creations so that I could spend more time prospecting and networking and growing those new relationships.
So how many clients you had before you started to delegate?
I probably had about 5 clients or so. And,
Yeah.
I was just like, I wanted more. I, wanted to do more, be more, have a larger business. And when I brought on those team members, I saw the value in that I could really provide and give work opportunity to women here in the US that were just looking for, part-time work or side gig, or enable them to be able to stay at home with their kids.
Yeah. So how did you find your first clients?
My first client actually kind of fell into my lap. I was new to Arizona and kind of going through the time of, do I want to start looking for another corporate job, or do I want to start something myself? And it was a smaller business, and they shared with me their need. They were like, well, we're really looking for somebody to take over our social media. Is that something you could help with? Long story short. And so it started from there. And then the more people I met in the community and networked with, I was able to meet all or bring on all of my clients organically that way through networking.
So you started networking, you went to networking events. It's how you really started to get more clients. Yes.
Yeah. I remember the first networking in-person event I went to here in Phoenix was the last networking event before COVID shut everything down. And so it took a lot of courage myself to just get myself out the door and go to this event and, meet new people. And I'm so grateful for that opportunity. And then everything went online. And I was already working online before that. So it was pretty easy for me to transition into the online networking. And then the more friends and acquaintances you meet along the way, it just became an evergreen referral based business for me.
How do you see that, like how much faster you can get the first client through the in-person networking versus online networking? Do you see what sometimes it's faster to be in person?
Yeah, sometimes it is. Like I prefer in-person networking or in-person meetings, but the virtual is just that much more seamless and easy to like get on a call or get on a Zoom, trade whatever your conversations are on. And then, virtual though, you don't have that connection the same as an in-person, to where I think you can really know, like, and trust that person much quicker when you're face to face. But, there are so many people that have been doing the virtual world for so many years now that it just kind of second nature, and we all kind of know exactly what we come to the Zoom meeting for or the call for. And so it kind of maybe gets rid of all the side fluff, and you're able to really dive into the conversation or the ask quickly.
And when you get your first client from the social media, you remember? Like when you started to, like your first clients from the social media, from like online social media.
Yeah.
Do you remember when you get it, like how it worked? Like you started to post every day, you started to, maybe you found your niche, you found your offer, and maybe after 2 months, comparing to in person, maybe it took you like 3 meetings, your first client, but so through the social media, maybe it took you 2 or 3 months to find your first clients.
Yeah. So my first client with the social media, luckily we were able to meet in person right away. That was just right before COVID. We set up regular in-person meetings each week or every other week so that we could maintain the communication, ask questions, tackle things that are working or not working at that time. And that's something that I still use to this day, because communication is key. It's the number one part of ensuring that the operations are running smoothly. And, to answer your latter part of the question, as far as like, do I have a niche or a target market that I went after? So in the beginning, I thought, yes, okay, I did the trainings and the classes. You must get your target audience, your niche down, and I kind of centered around, more of the beauty wellness industry. And then as I've grown and brought on different women to my team that have different knowledge, capabilities and industries and different areas, I've opened up the niche spectrum to be pretty much any business that's been in business 3 to 5 years, I don't work well with startups just because of the fact that I think startup businesses have so much on their plate. They don't know where to invest their money and or how to properly, like, what do I do first? Do I use marketing? Do I do VA service? Do I do, a business coach? There's so many options
Mhm.
that, I always recommend for entrepreneurs, especially startups, get a business coach. It's probably one of the best investments you can have. I have a business coach still. I've had 5 different business coaches since I've been in business, and every one of my business coaches have attributed to my growth in some fashion.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. So in the beginning, you had this beauty niche, and then you start to hire more people, and you kind of expand to more. But also, the virtual assistant, you can do so much things. How do you choose? What do? You do social media, or you create the emails, or you do the funnels, or
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's a great question because there are so many facets to your business
Mhm,
of, to help expand and to offer a great service or product. So with our services, I base it all under a large umbrella of client communications or your company communication needs. How do you communicate with the outside world? Most companies use the social media because that's a great way to market, share your message and your knowledge. From there, there's the newsletter creations. You always want to stay top of mind. You always want to have and maintain a contact list because that's the one thing that you own. You don't own your Facebook profile. That can be taken away in any moment. But your contact list within your CRM, your newsletter, platform, that's your list to keep. That's your list to nurture and give great information and value to. From there, we create blogs. That's a way for our companies to reach the outside world, offer their knowledge and expertise. Updating websites. Your website is your brand online. So you always want to make sure that's updated with current content and information. People have specials and sales going on. You always want to make sure that I had a client that had an event still on their website from a month ago. We just brought on last Friday, and I'm like, let's get on there and take that off. Because it just, you want everything online to represent your company to the best way possible. We also help with speaking engagements. So we do speaking research, podcasts for those speakers that, have their own podcast or want to be on podcast. We'll find and apply to those episodes for them. And then from the podcast interviews, you always have like social media content to share to support and empower the podcast that you're on, as well as podcast management. So we'll take the raw podcasts and turn them into the podcast publishing ready episodes. So anything that you take or you need to communicate with the outside world, we pretty much take care of. Anything that we don't, we have trusted resources within our circle that we refer to our clients.
Mhm. So all of these items, are they client? Is it like package, or like how do you do the packages?
Yeah, we do monthly packages and it's all flexible because not every one of our clients needs like a podcast management and social media. Some of our clients only want email management and, newsletter creations.
Mhm.
The inbox is really big time sucking piece of our business because we can be in our inbox all day and not really get anything else done.
I
But yeah,
see.
so they're all interchangeable and we can figure that out on our discovery call or our first session after they've agreed to. And we even have clients come to us and say, I just don't know what to give. Like, I have all of this stuff. I have people on my team, they do some of these things, but they don't do all of them. Or how am I going to know what to give up? That's what they usually say. And it's not you're giving it up, it's that you're delegating it to somebody to be a part of your team. So with Cloversy, our clients have somewhat of an executive team on their side. they have a dedicated exec VA that they work with, and they have me as more of a business strategist looking at their business from the outside in. So yeah, it's all interchangeable to our clients' needs.
I see. Do you see that over time, some services get more popular and some services get like less popular? Like right now, maybe podcasts are huge.
For sure. Social media, hands down, is the number one pick. I mean, take it from me. I don't even do most of my social media because that's just not my jam anymore. Like I did in the beginning, and as my business grows, I'm sure as a lot of you listening and watching this understand, as your business grows, that's probably one of the first things you don't need to be doing. Just because you can do it and you don't think anyone else can do it as good as you, that's usually the first sign that you should delegate, because people out there will be able to do it as well as you can with your help.
And when is a client comes that he delegated social media or emails, maybe content creation, and he doesn't like the way your team writes, or like, so how do you work with this like objectives?
Yeah, for sure. Great question. And that goes kind of back to the number one thing that I say is communication. So we have weekly meetings with our clients. So at that time, we go over what worked, what didn't work, what's coming up. We pre-create our content for our clients to review, especially in the beginning. The first 2 months are learning the client's businesses, the brand, the voice. And so we want to make sure that we're properly supporting their vision. And during those weekly meetings and those content creations, we'll be able to meet with the client and ensure that, we're getting their right brand and voice created for them, because it is representing them and their business. And that's when we can, revise, make edits. It's like a working meeting. We're always in communication with our clients, even outside of the weekly meetings. Like if they're like, oh, wait, I just looked at our next week's social media content. Let's go in a different direction, or I have an event coming up that we need to promote. We house all of our social media, our digital marketing graphics and content on project management software Trello. So all of our clients can easily access their Trello board and see exactly what's been created.
And on these meetings, do you come, or only your this VA who works with the clients? Or like it's 3 people comes?
In the beginning, especially, I'll be on most of the meetings, if not all of them. And then every meeting, after things get into a regular motion of, work, then I won't need to be on every meeting, but I'll pop in when I can. I'm always available via phone or email. And then after we, months of working with our clients to where they're very familiar and have that great relationship with their exec VA, I have at least once a month meeting with our clients where, we go over their business support overall.
Does business support include in the packages? What monthly package?
Yes. So that's all included. Like their meetings weekly and with me are an extra benefit, a bonus. So it's not a part of the time that we provide their project work.
Does sometimes clients don't like their VA who they work with? Like maybe they have like completely different visions and you need to change to somebody else then?
Yeah, that's happened in the past, and it's completely understandable, and no hard feelings. Like even for me, I don't work well with everyone, and vice versa. You have to make sure that you mesh well personally and business mind, all of that, with whomever you work with. And if the exec VA doesn't end up working well with the client, or they're just like, I just can't get that brand, or I'm having trouble supporting this client, it can be from both sides, and I'll swiftly go in and we'll make a change. And that's why I have a great team of women who work with Clovery that can support different clients.
And your VAs, are they separated by niche, for example? One is for real estate, one is for beauty, somebody is for coaching, or are they separated by social media, email marketing, or just
It's
or how's
separated
there? Just everybody.
It's mostly by their area of expertise. So it's digital marketing or their content creations. We have book editors on there. And then it will go down to industry specific if there's a particular industry like realty or, legal. I'll see who has that experience and knowledge.
Which industry do you see are hiring the most VAs? Is there any or
I don't know. Probably with the coaches, speaking, and authors. They work so much with B2C, or they work so much with their clients that it leaves them little time to do the administrative side and or the social media side. But I've seen an uptick in medium-sized companies even taking advantage of virtual assistance or support like that. With the medical field and legal field, they see what freedom it gives them by bringing people on, because you don't have to bring on a full-time employee. That's the great thing. It can be very flexible, part-time, however much help you need. That's what they can offer.
Mm-hmm. And in the package, do you offer this monthly package? You decide how many hours the VA will work for the client?
Yeah. During our discovery call, we'll kind of go over their pain points, what tasks and projects they would like to delegate. Maybe through that discovery time, we can find something else or replace of one of their projects that they thought they wanted to delegate. And then I'll be able to advise them of the amount of time or support package, because we have multiple different packages depending on the level of support needed. And so I can pretty much at that time say, okay, let's get you in the starter package. Because that's usually the one that people feel safest with, because they're like, they've never hired a VA in the past, or they've gotten burned by a VA in the past. And that's happened a lot, right? Or they have a team of people and they don't need a lot of support or a lot of different tasks taken on. They just need like one or two. And so I'm like, let's get you started on the starter package. And then from there, we can either grow or continue on, as is. It's just, it gives it great flexibility and, freedom.
So how did your packages change over time, and what kind of mistakes maybe you did creating the packages?
Yeah. I pretty much started with like the basics, like it's, starter, mid-level, executive level, kind of like 1, 2, 3. And then from there, we've been able to create packages to fit our clients' needs that are outside the 3 main scopes of work. Probably the one mistake I did a couple years into business, I went with a different business coach, one of my other coaches, and I raised my prices dramatically. And I didn't feel like that was what I wanted when I did it. And I should have went with my gut. I was like, let's be real. Like I raised the prices, and I brought them back down to a price that I felt was, attainable and manageable. We're still really great priced at what the value and support our clients get, but I feel better about offering something that, I would like to afford. I know that my clients can afford, and that they can really feel like they get a great amount of value and support out of this.
So you mentioned about the burnt out by VA. So how to avoid it?
Yeah, with the VAs.
If like client hires VA, but maybe it doesn't work, or he doesn't delegate enough or trust VA, or maybe it's not the right VA for the person and it doesn't really work. What, like how you fix it, or like what should be changed?
Yeah, most definitely. Well, it's great that you bring that up because I've talked to a number of people, friends, affiliates, past clients, future clients, like about this. They're like, oh my gosh, we had a VA or we have a VA and they're just not working, but they do a good job. Like I've gotten that a lot. Like, okay, well, they do a good job, but not a great job. It's something that I think holds us all back is that we're scared to go through the whole training process again. And so that tends to keep us from taking the leap to get a replacement or to find another solution. And it's really not that hard because if you bring on the right people or the person to your team that does not require a lot of hand-holding or training, then you don't have to go through those hours of training again. It's not as, lengthy or time consuming as it may have been, say, hiring somebody overseas. I have no problem against that, but you pretty much get what you pay for. And you just have to know what you're walking into. Like it's going to take a lot of time to train, or more time, say, than going with a company like Clovery. You have that language barrier. You have that, just time zone barriers and things like just different little pieces of the pie that are going to make it that much more challenging to get off on a great start. So I think we just think about it too long. We're like, oh, what if I did this? Or what if I could do this? Or, they do a good enough job, or they didn't do a great job. I let them go. I don't want to do that again.
Mm-hmm. I even think that as VA who creates a content strategy, they need to understand the mindset of the people who live there. Yes, and for example, if you want to sell to American market, how the VA from overseas can understand who you sell to, like what's their struggles. Right now in America, we have this financial crisis, also like debates coming through. So how the person from the overseas can understand what we as American think about, like where is our mindset is.
Yeah, there's a lot of different factors that, sometimes as business owners, like if you're so busy and overwhelmed that you need a VA, or that you've come to the conclusion that you need a VA and you get a VA, then it's kind of like, oh my gosh, I spent all this time thinking about it, figuring out what I want to delegate, which is usually a lot more time than is needed. And then you bring on your VA, you kind of feel like you have to stick with them until they get it, months and months. And if they don't, then you're like, oh my gosh, I just wasted months of my time. And you can kind of feel a little defeated, right? And so it's challenging. It's challenging to get back on that road of finding another support system.
Did you ever try to work with the overseas VA, or you started with the Americans VA?
Yeah, no, I did in the beginning because, I had a number of friends and business owners that were like, yeah, we can, I have a VA overseas and it works out great. And I'm like, great. If you have found somebody to work with, well, keep them. Enjoy that service. But, I tried and it just didn't work out. I tried multiple times. And my company, we started off with women only with when I brought on the women in the beginning. And I thought, I just want to continue that. I work well with all of the people on my team. And, then I was just able to bring on more women here in the US that already had that knowledge and expertise. And especially now, a lot of my team members that I bring on, they've been a virtual assistant for a number of years. So they get our clients' struggles and pain points and how to accurately dive into their company and their brand. And, check or research their competitors and do all those extra things to better understand how to create the content for them.
How do you hire people? Do you have a process of checking their previous work, maybe some, I don't know, like experience, maybe what kind of courses they took, or just charisma? How you hire people?
No, For the most part, it's all been referral based to where I've, been able to find the women that are part of my team. And then, yeah, I do have an HR background, and operations. So yes, I do my due diligence and kind of take a look at their social platforms, their history, their certifications. I've spoken to their previous clients and or bosses or companies they've worked for, and then had a meeting with them. And then we do have weekly Cloverse team meetings. So we always each week get together, go over our wins, our roadblocks, and then we always kind of go over a fun question. Like we just had our team meeting today, and we, asked about our favorite holidays. So it just kind of gives a time for us to connect and really go over what's working, what's not.
Mhm. Do you see that maybe younger people are more better with the social media, or 30, 40 years old also they're fine, but they know the people better?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Yeah, it's a mix of both because I find like the younger people can maybe be better at more of the reels and videos, and maybe a different demographic and company. So I try to match up my company's images and branding to the level of expertise and experience the women have. But I have a number of women that are in their 30s and older that work for my company that do an amazing job because they have that knowledge and expertise to be looking at the other competitors, look at what the company has posted in the past and how we could provide insight in improving that. We like you said, your knowledge and experience base is different at different ages.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Maybe you can remember some funny story when you hired somebody who promised too much but maybe didn't work so much, and you maybe some kind of mistakes you learned from hiring some VAs who again overpromise but don't deliver something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's kind of like with the people that are maybe newer to the virtual assistant industry, they, you know, they come on and they say, yeah, I can help you out and I can do this and do that. And there was one lady and she had been out of work for a couple of months and I was going to be able to bring her on. And then, within a day after we hired her, she hadn't even started working. She was like, oh, well, I just got a part-time job and, I'm going to be working these days I won't be able to do this job those 3 days. And so she just didn't have the mindset of a business, which I don't expect that. But it was kind of like, okay, well, back to the drawing board. I mean, I'd love to keep you on, but I can't because we have to have support every day during the week. And, it's just luck of the draw, pretty much. You hire somebody and you have all these great expectations, and sometimes they just don't work out.
So what's the benefit for a person to work for your company or to do VA themselves?
Yeah. And that's another great question because with my company, I do all of the legwork. I find the clients, I do the networking, I bring them on, I nurture that relationship. Some of the clients, sign on right away, and some of them take months to nurture that relationship and to build that trust or to go through the different levels of need through their company. So, I do all of the work. I bring them on. I maintain that relationship with them. I give them the tools necessary for them to do a great job with all of the different editing platforms and project management software systems and training. We have our weekly meetings, like I said earlier, where we maintain that community feel and kind of like it gets a little lonely working virtually. So it's nice to know that you're a part of a team. And, we do offer training throughout the company. So if you, want to be a part of a great team and community within like-minded virtual assistants, great. My company's it for you. But if you want to go off and do it on your own, you want to go find your own clients, you want to go pay for all of those programs that you have to use to create content and videos, then so be it. I've had a couple of women that have left because they've decided to start their own business or grow their current business. And I'm all for celebrating that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you're paying for all the Canva, CapCut, or like Adobe, everything you.
Yeah.
Okay. And for the, do you teach like this VA who comes, they should know how to do social media, podcasts, how to prosper the podcasts, how to do the copywriting for emails, or you have some programs where you teach best practices or what the industry right now wants?
Yeah, it's a lot of on the job training. So we'll be going through the clients' work together as a team. We'll bring in other Cloversy team members to provide insight and training. And then we do have like the trainings to where they can, do it on their own time for like email management and different creations and program usages. But yeah, for the most part, it's on the job. I work really close with all of the team members and the clients just to make sure that everyone feels comfortable with what they're doing and understands exactly what the projects and tasks entail.
Do you sometimes tell what VA need to maybe take some kind of courses about maybe graphic design to create a better maybe layout for Instagram, or but they will benefit from some kind of courses to do better job for a client?
Yeah, I'm all about knowledge. Knowledge is empowerment, and for them to be able to take different courses or be able to meet with one of our team members that has better knowledge on creating, Adobe or Photoshop or working with different programs that they haven't used in the past or as much, we'll tackle that and make sure that we provide all the information possible. Like,
I see.
I always like to have more than none.
So they can like shadow another more experienced VA if they have any questions or like how to do something.
Yeah, and they can have, one-on-one meetings with each other to go over client projects or questions that we have. We're bringing on, a new project for a client that we have been working with for months, and one of the other team members is more experienced with that, but just can't support that particular project ongoing. We'll meet with our team members.
So tell me about your marketing and your sales. So do you still go to the networking? I believe you collab with different business owners somehow. Like how do you find your clients right now?
Yeah, it's all organic and referral based. It's all through networking, the circles of influence I have. Six Figure Chicks, which is our book series, is a great piece of the marketing for Cloversy. So Cloversy is now the publisher of Six Figure Chicks. So we published the books. We just launched our second bestseller, international best-selling book, Six Figure Chicks Phoenix, which I'm super proud of. And then we'll be doing a book in every state around the nation. So all 50 states will have a Six Figure Chicks, like a Six Figure Chicks LA, Houston, Miami, New York. And I'm using that as a tool to, grow my circle of influence and to help the women around the nation grow their communities and be a part of something that's really powerful and, be around like-minded women. From the second book, I've seen a number of the authors that didn't know each other before the book become friends and then refer business to each other and to learn and grow from each other. So it's, a reciprocal thing with the Six Figure Chicks books. It's like, I get to strengthen my relationships, grow new relationships, and do the same for all the women in the book.
So how the idea of this book started, and maybe you had the first idea, maybe you will find the client or again grow your business, and now you changed to such a beautiful community. Yes, how it changed over time.
Yeah. So my first business coach, we had one of our mastermind sessions. She brought in a publisher, Katrina Sawa, So Katrina was talking about doing a book collaboration. She's like, if you ever wanted to be an author, this is a great first step because you don't have to spend $20,000 on your own book or all the time. You just write one chapter, you become a part of a best-selling book. So I was like, okay, I bought it. I was like, I'll get my first book. And then I thought, what am I going to write about? Everyone has a VA book out there, how to become a VA. I didn't want to do that. So I remembered, one of my business coaches, she said, okay, my first year, she said, what do you want to make your first year? And I was like, I don't know. I just want to make enough money to live a good life and pay my bills. She was like, okay, well, we need a figure so we can reach that figure. I said, okay, $100,000. I said, that's nice and easy. And so I reached my $100,000 and then some my first year. So fast forward, the book was there, and I said, okay, what about six-figure chicks? Because we don't celebrate enough our success. Like, I love being able to celebrate the success that I've made or helped others make. And so six-figure chicks isn't just about like a dollar amount, like, oh, I'm not boasting or, saying that I make this much money. I'm saying that we've reached a level of success that just stuck with me. My first year, I proved them wrong. I had a successful business. I've grown. I've been able to give, work opportunities to women, give back time to clients, and now create an awesome book series. And I'm like, why not bring more women in to share their stories of success so that women and men reading these books can know that it's so possible for them to be as successful or more. They can learn from our struggles, our triumphs. It gives, in every book, we share the stories from every author, like one success story of their life or chapter, how they made it to the six-figure chicks. Then the second half of the book, we go over roadblocks, imposter syndrome, and many other things that we've all been through, as well as best practices and tips and tricks of how to reach that success level. And it's a great way for people to know that they're not alone and that it can be done.
And in this book, there's a different women who have a different type of business. So for example, if you are in the financial business or, I don't know, like salon or some massage person, so you can read this book and see what this person who had this maybe massage business, what he went through, and maybe learn from his mistake.
Yeah, most definitely. And we have everyone from all walks of life and all businesses. So we have entrepreneurs, have all types of businesses, and then we have intrapreneurs, people that work in a business but have an entrepreneurial mindset that, really enjoy what they do and love their career. But they've reached the six figures. So the second book, I love it. We have Amber Harmon, who is a Southwest flight attendant and has been for 20 years, but she's a six-figure earning female.
Yeah.
And she has a story to share. We all have a story to share to empower and inspire others.
Yeah, very inspirational. I love it. So what's your future goals or plans with your Cloverse?
Cloverse is to continue to grow and give back our, time to our clients and to see the relief on their faces. So I love bringing on more women to my team and more clients to support. So I
see. Yeah. And can you give me some 3 tips for the people who would like to start VA business?
Tips for people who would like to start their VA business. Sure.
Yes, something like your business is.
Yeah. The first tip would be get a mentor or a business coach. So if you're just starting out, you may not be able to afford a business coach. Get a mentor. Find people in your circle that are smarter than you. Because I'm always like, I want to learn and get as much information as I can. So I always seek it from people that know more than me. Start networking. get out there. If you're scared or you're introvert, push past that limit. And, when you get your first client and, nurture that relationship and always ask questions.
Perfect. And how people could work with you and why they should select your company to work to like hire VA from your company?
Yeah, well, it's all about who you like. So people buy me or my company, my team of women, before they buy our service. So it's about who you connect with and who you can work well with. I'm a business owner, so I understand a ton of our pain points from our clients that they go through. So we have great relationships. So contact me on all the social platforms: Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Mell C Business. We have Clovery EVA, and you can contact me at mellc@cloverc.com. That's Clover with an sy.com. And I'll let you in on one more little tidbit. So people often ask me why or how I came up with the name Cloverse. So I thought of a four-leaf clover is like 1 in 1,000 other clovers in a field. So Cloverse, Executive Virtual Assistant, is 1 in 1,000 other VA businesses. You can only have one.
And I think also the benefit working with you is when you hire separate VA person, you just get the VA. But if they work with you, you also get the business strategist. And I think it's a huge kind of bonus.
Yes, most definitely. Yeah. You get a team.
Yeah.
You get an extension of your business so that you're not faced with all of those stressors or issues or trying to think of the next best thing of how to scale your business.
Yeah, and great support, definitely. Perfect. Yeah. Thank you so much, Mel. Thank you so much for the useful information for everybody who want to hire VA or maybe would like to start a VA business. I think it was very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandra.
Thank you.